Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people on this beautiful Sunday. I kind of call it a misty, rainy kind of day. So, Brandon will be joining us. I think he's just running a little bit behind. I did get the stream key that I needed, so I'll wait for him to pop in so that he can get us live on Instagram. In the meantime, if you're out there, say good morning to us. Tell us what you did with the knowledge that you learned yesterday. Did you eat differently? I guess I would say. Good morning, Miss Brenda Davis. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday, everyone. As we go to day 116 of Daily Motivations for African American Success. KL says buenos dias. Buenos dias. Good morning to you. So, Brandon, how's it going over there for you?
It's going great. Buenos dias, todas las personas en el campo. Buenos dias to everybody aquí that's here. Appreciate the us expanding language, man. I love that. But how are you, Mom? You doing all right?
Doing good. Doing good.
Good, good. Look at us match white today. I feel like we match pretty frequently on this show.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah,
go back and have to see how many times we've worn the same color.
I
But
haven't
it's good to see
noticed.
you, Mom.
You too. You too.
Good to see you.
You too. Um. Okay, got it. All right. So you should be okay on there to do Instagram here in just a second, and then we'll get it going.
Sounds good. You got your coffee?
Got my coffee. Just reached for it. Got my
I got
coffee. I
mine too. I
got
haven't
me a
tasted
little.
it.
Look, I cut a little piece of banana nut bread so I could have something in my stomach with the coffee because I know I wouldn't have time to eat it like I want to here. So I just did a little piece. So I know it's probably not on the list of healthy breakfast, but it's what I have for right now. So
Them carbs and sugar, right?
yeah, yeah, I got it. I'll start
Mm,
that. Look, I'll start that another time, another day.
okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna hold you to it. Well, welcome again, everybody, to the In This Season podcast, where we go through daily motivations with the book that's titled "Daily Motivations for African American Success" by Dennis Kimbro. If you haven't gotten the book, please go get the book. It's a great value book for what you pay for it. Online, it's not. I don't even think it's $10. 10
Yeah.
$11, but please get this book. This is what we're going through every single day. So if you are here, especially if you're here on the regular, but even if you're not here on the regular, make sure that you go and grab this book. So this book was published, over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. But it still seems to show up today. I mean, even yet, my mother, uh, the title was Call 911, and then the night prior, my mother had to call 911. So I mean, like, when I say this book is showing up and meeting us in places and kind of presenting itself as the perfect as the perfect, I guess, literary piece for our life at this moment. That I mean it. I really mean it. It has aspects of it that are about success. It's about aspects about it that are, I mean, internal success, external success, financial success, spiritual success, mental capacity and strength and perseverance. So it has a lot of different personal development, self-development tools um, inside of this book. So please go and grab this book if you haven't already. But a little bit about it. Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. So every single day, we read a passage out of this book. We read the quote, we read the affirmation at the end, and then we give you our personal insights and have a discussion, not just with us, but also with you in the chat. So please stay involved in the chat, whether you're on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, or YouTube Live. So that's all, Mama. When are you ready to jump into it? I'm gonna sip some coffee. I guess
Miss
as we say
Brenda
hey to
says
people in the chat.
Miss Brenda says she misses the chicks. That sound was very soothing. It had become a part. It was. It's like a part of the show. I do too, Miss Brenda. Like literally, there's something soothing about the sound.
Mm,
The chirping. I don't know. So
I'll have to record it and just play it somewhere else. I can maybe play it on YouTube. Just some
how
chicks.
how are they doing, by the way?
They're doing good. We put them outside. The nest box that we built for them was able to be moved. So we moved it
Hmm.
outside and kind of changed the top of it a little bit to incorporate a little roof. But it's an open roof with like a mesh over it, so no bugs and stuff like that can get in. Because mosquitoes like them too, especially the young chickens. But they're
Mm.
doing fine. They love it. They love it.
Did you have to put them out? Is there a set time as to when it's best to put them outside?
Yeah, I mean, I won't say best or anything. I mean, they're always best outside.
Right,
It's just
right.
the fact that they they have the chance of being eaten by hawks and crows, and especially
Because
when
it's
they
so
don't
funny.
have a right. So especially when they don't have like a mother or a rooster around, that cares for them or sees them as their chick, they'll just kind of let the other chicks do their thing. Or if you introduce chicks too soon, the bigger chickens can kill them.
Okay,
Because there's a pecking order, right? Unless
okay.
it's their chicks or the chicks of somebody in their flock. We're really introducing, new chicks to a flock. So we have to keep them inside for a little bit, let them become of age so at least they can defend themselves and establish their rightful place in the pecking order. So
See
about
how
5 weeks.
everything is has an order.
Mm,
You know, it just has a way, a right way to do it. I'm not saying that because life happens for sure, but that just kind of reminds me of just the day we hear God's voice, that we're able to hear, understand, interpret, and obey. So
mm.
that's all
Every
I
morning after the show, I go outside and pick up all the chicks. I open the box, pick up all the chicks. They're about this big now. They were when you guys
Wow.
first heard them. They were about this big. They're
Yeah.
probably about that big now. About triple the size, triple quadruple the size that they were when we got them.
Oh
So
wow.
they grow really fast. They poop a lot. They smell like dander, like chicken dander in a sense. So I had a filter back in the room to just filter the air out and everything. But of course, outside you don't have to worry about that. But it attracts mosquitoes and things like that. So it's just watching out for that. But I pick them up, put them out on the grass, let them get some calcium, let them get some nutrients and things like that
Mhm.
from the soil, and then I put them back in. But they follow me like a little flock of baby chicks, baby ducks. That's exactly what they are. They look at me as like mama, I guess.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's funny. I expected the kids to be, that to be their main responsibility, and then me being in the back here in this little kind of office room with them for a while, it kind of got me attached to them and them attached to me. So I'm always checking on them. I put them in timeout. Oh man, I got all kind of situations with these chicks. Yeah, but you know how I am. I've always been like that with birds. You know,
Or with
unintentionally.
animals
Mm.
in general, literally, you've always been that way about animals. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So we have Miss Brenda again, KL, Big Mike's out there, and who else did I see? I guess that's all that's come in for the comments. And yes,
Yeah,
KL, I am doing fine. I am okay. No worries there. So I'm just kind of having a very relaxed. I got a lot of rest last night, so I
you did.
probably yeah. I slept better than I probably have all week and longer and longer. So
Mm.
I'm just more relaxed this morning.
And
So
I crashed. I was on the couch. Thought I was about to do something else, but what I ended up doing is I went out about 10:45 last night because I was craving some ice cream. I had been, training all day. Had been,
not
yeah,
avocados.
huh? No, no,
You
no,
didn't
no,
eat an avocado.
no. No, no. Okay, all right. So let me break this down for you. And this is no pseudoscience, but so I train, huh?
10 o'clock last night for ice cream,
Yeah,
Brandon.
yeah, yeah. I needed it. Absolutely. You know why? I did 15 plus rounds of fighting yesterday, right? So five, I did 15 5-minute rounds at least of fighting yesterday. Then I had to go to the dump to dump all the stuff off the truck. Then I came back to the house and had to move the big freezer refrigerator, load it on the truck, washer machines, move everything around in the garage, making space. I did, yard work and pulled pallets in the back, and I did a lot of physically stressing things. And like I said yesterday, if y'all remember, when you uh, when you use up a lot of energy in your muscles, you deplete glycogen, which is a type of sugar, right? Glycogen. So carbohydrates are complex sugars. They break down into simple sugars. Ice cream, being that it's gone from milk cream to the ice cream, it's already broken down those sugars, right? So when I've depleted those sugars, that's how you feel very drained. If I would have just eaten, especially last night, if I would have just eaten my protein and high fats, it would have gave me good fuel, but I still would have been a little tired due to me depleting my glycogen reserves and my muscles from strenuous activity. If you're doing strenuous activity, and I'm an extreme athlete, I'm, probably the top 2% of athletes as far as cardiovascular, all these other things. So I have to replenish those glycogen reserves. And there's two things, I ain't gonna tell you the other ones that help me replenish the most, but you can look it up. And ice cream is one of the best things to replenish glycogen reserves if you're an extreme athlete and go through that type of stuff. But if not, and you used to live a sedentary life, or you haven't run, I don't know, 3 or 4 miles that day at least, you don't deserve no ice cream.
So if you work like really hard outside in the yard and all that stuff, have a really long day, you could come in and have a ice cream, and it's good for you.
It's not even like yard work. It's not, I don't mean like mowing the lawn. I'm talking about like lifting,
Oh,
like
okay.
you're lifting stuff, you're or a very heavy physical workout. And so I'm
Okay.
I'm less than 5% body fat. Like my abs have abs. My shoulders got shoulders. So like when I don't have fat and sugar, when I don't have sugars inside of my muscles, it has to eat fat and I don't have any. So it ends up hurting my muscles and they're not able to recover as well.
Okay.
But if you have fat, your body
Okay.
goes to start to eat that fat, right? Especially if you've eaten right in the morning and it takes away from those to
Gosh,
metabolize fats.
okay.
Hmm?
I said
It,
that's
it's it's not it's
it's a
really a
lot.
simple system once you understand it. It seems
Okay.
big and complex, and then it's different for every person based on lifestyle. But the thing is that most people live the same type of lifestyle. Everyone doesn't, isn't a high performing athlete, right? Or a marathon runner eats differently than a sprinter, 100-yard dasher. A swimmer eats different than a baseball player. You know, there are different things that they want out of their body systems. So we're gonna be starting a health show here soon in a minute.
I told you I need to get you on and do one of those, and then the people can book you.
Uh, I tell my
Um,
friends that at the gym, I'm like, man, they're like, you coming in the next day after sparring and or pretty soon after, and you're back at it. I'm like, you got to replenish your glycogen. So they've started incorporating eating, ice cream, or some of them do other things that are, quickly accessible sugars after workouts, and they're able to come back the next day. Interesting, right?
cool, cool.
Yep. But let's want to get into it.
Let's get into it.
Actually, really quick, let me shout out people in the IG chat. Raina, thank you for showing up. Big Will, thank you for showing up. And Far From Home Chronicles, thank you for showing up. That's either Adam or Diala. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Feel free to Drop us something in the comment section. Let me know how y'all doing, man. Good to see y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate it.
Brandon, we have a
Uh,
question for you.
yeah.
What's the average age of your opponents? That's from KL.
Oh wow.
It's been so it's
It's all
been
over the place.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
Sometimes.
hard.
Yeah. Sometimes they're. I mean, mid 20s to 36, 37. I would say it's been about. I would say from mid 20s to mid 30s, maybe a little older. So when I fought UFL, I fought a really good guy actually that was 40. He was 40 years old. Yep, yep. He had only lost one fight prior to that in his professional career. Um, but yeah, so it's kind of all over the place. It really depends on your physical ability depends on a couple of things, um, from genetics to lifestyle to diet and things like that, and how much mileage you put on your body, you know. And there's good mileage and bad mileage. I just make sure I put high mileage oil inside of my body.
He's saying, I'm hoping that like maybe I can do it. KL, sit down. Sat down. Sat down. Not sit, sat down.
Oh man, that's good. Hey, hope you're having a. Raina said, uh, hope you're having a great morning. Great meeting you yesterday. Yeah, thank you so much for coming out there to law school MMA. She saw us sparring yesterday and took some pictures for us. I really appreciate that, Raina. Appreciate that a lot. And let us know, Raina, what'd you think of the sparring sessions? and and Adam, yep. Oh, Adam's sleep. Okay, cool. So my people are chatting on the chat box. I appreciate y'all participation. But yeah, let's jump into it, man.
Let's jump into it.
Ready? All right. So on this May 26th, the title is Too Legit to Quit. For all my 90s babies out there, too legit to quit. And the quote of the day comes from Isaiah Thomas, the basketball great. Y'all let me know who did Isaiah Thomas play for all the old school NBA fans in the comment section. Let's see if anybody gets it right. Oh, I'm sorry. Raina's mama. I'm Kayla. Ha ha ha. That's right, little Raina. Okay, cool. Forgive me. I get hit in the head a lot. All right. So to
Pistons.
quit.
Pistons. We have KL saying Pistons and Miss Brenda Davis
Yep.
saying Pistons.
Yep.
I didn't
That's
know.
right. Look at that. See?
Huh?
Yeah. I said that's right. I bet none of my young folk would have got that, you know. But too legit to quit. And Isaiah Thomas, the basketball great, said, I've always believed no matter how many shots I miss, I'm going to make the next one. I always believed no matter how many shots I miss, I'm going to make the next one. And that's from Isaiah Thomas. Every adversity, every failure, and every unpleasant experience carries with it the seed of an equivalent benefit that may prove a blessing in disguise. Again, every adversity, every failure, and every unpleasant experience carries with it the seed of an equivalent benefit that may prove a blessing in disguise. Failure and defeat are the common language that nature uses to speak to us and bring us under a spirit of humility so that we may acquire wisdom and understanding. A wise man once said that it would be impossible to live with a person who had never failed or been defeated in any of his endeavors. The same man also discovered that people achieve success in almost exact proportion to the extent to which they meet and master adversity and defeat. And he made another important discovery, that the truly great achievements were attained by men and women past the age of 50. Y'all see how this book is following us around? He expressed the opinion that the most productive years were between 60 and 70. You too can ride the success beam by learning to discover and build on the seed of an equivalent benefit in each of your setbacks. Since defeat in some form inevitably overtakes each of us at one time or another, it's obvious that the Creator intends you to gain strength, understanding, and wisdom through struggle. Adversity and defeat cause you to develop your wits and go forward. It is often difficult for us to recognize the equivalent benefit in our adversities while we are still suffering from the wounds. But time, the greatest of all healers, will disclose the benefits to those who sincerely search for and believe they will find them. So again, but time, the greatest of all healers, will disclose the benefits to those who sincerely search for and believe they will find them. And the affirmation that we read 3 times, one for me, one for you, and one for the people that you're going to send this to, meaning invite them, bring them to the cookout, and tell them to bring a plate because they're going to take a plate home. The affirmation is: great achievement is born out of perseverance. Short and sweet. Great achievement is born out of perseverance. And last time, say it out loud. Great achievement, it's at the bottom of your screen. Great achievement is born out of perseverance. Excuse me. But that's it, Mama. What you got for us? What you think about that?
It's so many things in this paragraph, and it's just so many things to pull out, Brandon. Like, I didn't get to read this one before, and I wish I had, but I don't know where really to start. I guess I'm going to go right here at the very. Let's start right with a quote. Um, I've always believed no matter how many shots I miss, I'm going to make the next one. It takes me back to the little boy who was swinging and he missed, so he didn't call himself the greatest hitter, but the greatest batter,
Picture.
pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
So it reminds me of that one. Um, and if we do think, I think this like about faith, too legit to quit. Do you have the faith in yourself enough to keep moving no matter what it looks like? If it looks like you're failing, if it looks like you're moving pretty slow to where you're trying to go, there's just so many things. He says, I'm going to make the next one. What happens if you think that and you don't make the next one? Do you just keep that same mindset and keep moving? I was sharing with Brandon yesterday that I had to remind myself that I'm not going to be the person that I don't remember what day that was, but it talked about the man being on the airplane and he just always thought that they missed him, that they never asked him,
Oh yeah,
what did he want anything?
the
Because he
stewardess,
had
right?
this right, he had this distorted perception in reality. So distorted perception that became his reality every time. And so I have to every now and then I'll get these things before me that really will not allow me to receive my blessings out when I'm working. I can in my head come up with some things that could make me quit,
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm-hmm.
if I'm showing up. I mentally will quit because I have all of these things that I've said why this will not work, right? Instead of saying, okay, if I didn't get that one, I'm going to get the next one. But if I don't, and what I found, what's really different, you guys, if we just relax and just trust God through the process. You know why? Because we have no control over it anyway. God gets to choose if you will make the next one or if you won't. And it's really about how we internalize the hits, I'll say the misses, and the ones that we get. Because I think it's more, we can tell more about someone during the times that they are productive and successful, right? That really tells us who a person is, even in their faith. So it's how you internalize it. I'm going to pick another one. It says, every adversity, every failure, and every unpleasant experience carries with it the the seed of an equivalent benefit that may prove a blessing in disguise. How often have you thought about, or have you ever thought about one of your failures and saw on the other side of it, after you got out of it, how much it changed you, how much wisdom it brought upon you, how much more faith, strength, even integrity? So if we would look at the growing pain that Brandon had with the knees, once he figured out that I'm going to be tall from this pain, and he realized that's what I want to be. So I'm going to endure this pain. So if you want to have wisdom, if you want to have more understanding about yourself, more faith, more strength, right? More
Mm-hmm.
of what it takes to forgive, then start looking at the things that are challenging to you as just the way to get to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So Brandon, there's a lot in this one. I'll give it over to you to bring some. I know you're probably going to pull out some of the things that I've underlined here as you read, but let's turn it over to you.
All right, I'm gonna plug up my phone before it gets its own longevity. Let's see, before it loses its longevity, its battery. Okay. Thanks, Mom, for that. Yeah, too legit to quit. I keep hearing that song, too legit to quit in my head, right? So that's gonna be my theme song that day. When I get in the car, I think I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna pull up to an old head and play it and bump it loud to see to see what they do. Um, but I've always believed, like Isaiah Thomas said, that no matter how many shots I miss, I'm going to make the next one. Um, always shoot your shot, right? Always shoot your shot. And I think there's something about always shooting a shot that gives you more probability of success. Like inherently, right? How many shots has Michael Jordan missed? Right? That might be something that we can look up, right? How many shots has Michael Jordan missed in his career versus how many he's made, right? I bet you would be surprised
Right.
figure out just how many Michael Jordan has missed, or Kobe Bryant, or whoever is your favorite player. Since we started with the reference with Isaiah Thomas, or the quote with Isaiah Thomas, um, the percentages are less than what the eyes see, right? Because what we see and what we remember are these amazing highlights, right? But for some reason in sports, you can, when someone gets on a bad spell, it's very easily to forget the good that they've done. And when they get on a good spell, it's very easily to forget the failures that they've had. So as an athlete, the best thing you can do is keep going. And then another thing, not to do it for uh, uh, for the likes. The success isn't just the people that like it, right? Yeah, many of these are spectator sports, right? So it's good that there's entertainment involved, but there's also a skill that's involved, and that is what many are looking for too. Like, how well can he maneuver himself to make this shot happen, right? Um, but also one thing that I've noticed is, like, even as I sit here now, I am so sore. I am so sore. My legs don't want to move. I have a wound on my knee that's been there for a month now, 3 weeks to a month now. There is pain that associated with any type of achievement, especially when it comes to physical things. But like I always say, anything that happens physically, there is an equivalent, as this book kind of reference to, that happens internally. So like Isaiah Thomas said, every time, even if I miss a shot, I expect to make the next one. That's mindset training, right? That's your mindset. That's that get up and go. When my son falls down, when Pac falls down, I don't know if you've heard me say this to him, but he'll fall down and I say, "Uh-oh, hey, what do we do when you fall down?" Have you heard me say that to him?
Yes.
What do we do when we fall down? And what does he say?
I can't remember what he said. Get back
He
up,
says,
daddy, or
"Yeah." He
something
says,
like
"We
that.
get back up again, Daddy." And
Daddy,
if
yeah.
he falls down, sometimes he'll be like sad, like, "Man, I fell down." I'm like, "But what do we do?" That's the mindset training at a young age. Like, okay, that happened, but what do you do? Are you going to sit on the ground? It's not the truly successful isn't the person who doesn't fall down. The truly, I mean, the successful is the person that gets up more times than they fell down. But the true failure is the person who falls down and never gets up again, right? If you expect to never fall down while you're running, or while you're how to be a better runner, or if you're while you're on the road to success, if you don't expect to stop and get some gas, or to possibly have a flat tire and have to change a tire, then you shouldn't get on the road in the first place. Because life is a journey, success is a journey. And if it doesn't come with the hills and the valleys, who cares about that? If it doesn't come with the hills and the valleys, you're going to care more about the destination than the journey. And I'll tell you this, the person who's out on the two people set out on a journey. One person is attached to the destination, and one person is attached to the journey. And the person who's attached to the journey will get there before the person who's attached to the destination. Right? Because on the way there, you're like, man, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. You're complaining. You don't understand why. Like when we went to California and went to Mexico, we drove on the way back. We were there for the journey. Now, I'm not gonna lie, we got to some places where we were like, man, I just wish I was in my own bed, right? But we knew that eventually we're gonna sleep in our own bed. But while we're here, let's be present and enjoy these mountains. Let's be present and enjoy the scenery. Enjoy it. We saw elk and all kind of animals that we hadn't seen just by traversing the country. We saw mountains and valleys and rock formations and not craters, but what do you call it? Like cliffs and things like that. And had we just flown, it would have been a cool scene, but it'd have been quick. And there's something to convenience, right? But microwave food ain't the same as a home cooked meal. It's different flying over mountains and then being under mountains and seeing just how big they are, right? So don't expect to keep your focus on the journey. Keep your focus on the process. And part of the process is failure. But part of the process is not quitting. That's not part of the process, right?
So, Brandon, I
We're
think the word
too legit for that.
legit. Yeah, I was gonna say, when you hear, what do you think about when as it is here, too legit to quit? Internalize that, because
Mm-hmm.
if you ask someone, "Hey, man, is he legit?" Like, can I? If you ask someone that about someone else, what are you speaking of about that person? If
Right.
someone was asking that of you, like another friend of yours about you, "Hey, is he legit?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he
Mm-hmm.
straight up? Is he real? Can I trust him? Is he about his stuff? Right?
Yeah.
So think about, let's not lose sight of that. Too legit to quit. Are you too legit to quit in your life? Because if you'll quit in your life, you'll quit on me and in mine too. It's like I say, if you'll lie to somebody else, you'll lie to me. If you're lying to
Mm-hmm.
someone else, you'll lie to me. If you're lying to yourself, you will lie to us. If you're not legit in your own life, you're not going to be legit in mine. I can't depend on you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Adversity. Did you read that line about adversity too?
yes, yes, somewhere down there it talks
Uh,
about the adversity.
adversity and defeat. Adversity and defeat cause you to develop wits and go forward.
Mm,
There's
mm,
a quote that adversity is opportunity for the great. Forget who
mm,
said that, but adversity is just opportunity for the great. So if you're a great person, if you intend to be a successful human being, then when you see adversity, you know that behind it is opportunity. And so this passage really gives you an equivalent. It mentions an equivalent benefit of an unpleasant experience. So whatever unpleasant experience you have, there's another nature. There's a flip side of that coin that is an equivalent benefit. So are you really at a loss? No. The only difference in this situation is time. The only thing that we lose is time. But then this passage even softens that blow and says that your most successful years are usually in your elder years. So well, it's like wine getting better with time. It's the maturation of you, because your mindset is changing. And I hope and pray that all of the people here and the people that we're speaking to, we mature as we get older. There's some people that seem that don't fully mature, right? Like they're 45-year-old boys, right? Mentally,
Mm.
or girls instead of women and men. But in your 50s, 60s to 70, they're saying is some of your most successful years. And I wonder how they're measuring that success. But defeat in some form inevitably overtakes each of us at some time
Mm.
or another. But what do you do after that defeat? The difference between failure and defeat. I'll say that. I think defeat be too strong of a word, or failure. I don't know which one difference between. That's something I think I would like to look up. What's the difference between defeat and failure? Is there one that's more permanent, right? And what's the difference, right? Are we defeated or have we failed, right?
So,
Because I
Brandon,
think there's a
failure is defined as a lack of success. Defeat is defined as an unsuccessful ending to a struggle or contest. So, failure is defined
mm,
as a lack of success. Defeat is defined as an unsuccessful ending to a struggle or contest.
okay. Now will you define success?
And I think people have to do that for themselves, but I'll define it based on what the world
Like,
says it is, right? Um,
right. I just mean by that definition, so we can compare defeat,
the
success, and
accomplish
failure.
So very applicable. The accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. And we've read about the word aim and purpose and spoke about it, I think, most every day in some way. So success, the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. And that to me is personalizing it as well. What's your purpose? How are you aiming? Right? Are you legit in the aim and the purpose, the process of the purpose? So success, the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, right? And if you're not aiming and if you don't have a goal, right, for your purpose or a plan,
Mhm.
then you're not successful, right? Defeat or you failed, right? So again, failure is defined as a lack of success. And remember what success was defined as. It's very personal. And defeat is an unsuccessful ending to a struggle or contest.
So what that tells me is that defeat is temporary, right? Defeat can be a contest. It has a time of beginning and a time of ending. Whereas failure is almost a mindset. It's almost a condition, right? Failure and success is a condition of being a state of, whereas defeat is this incremental, might be a step on the way. So from one step back, you might go two steps, right? Like what if I came up to to two people in a race and I said, okay, um, you get to have one runner, you get to have one step forward. And then the other runner, you have to have one step back. But if I said that, and while I said you have one step back, and they interrupted me before I finished my sentence, then they would just have one step back. I say you have to have one step back. But what if I would say then two steps forward? They would both get there at the same time. But the person who took the step back and then forward, like in life, that's how I think our life can be sometimes. Like we'll have one setback, but it's for a greater comeback. And if we look at it like that, I think our experience will be better on the race of life, as opposed to just like everything we do is successful, everything we do works for us. Would it really be worth it at the end? Like you have people that are born into money, or born into trust fund babies, right?
Mhm.
And is it, there's nothing wrong with that, hats off to their predecessors who set them up in that way. But imagine the difference and how it hits differently for the person who built their empire, you know, in their own lifetime, right? And no one does it in a vacuum. There's success that comes and community that comes from you building things. There's people that you meet along the way that help you, that you end up helping other people. There's there's family, there's events, there's all the institutions can be built, right? So there's so much that of personal development that comes from going down the pathway to success that you don't get if it's just handed to you, right? But it being handed to you comes with its own challenges, right? So don't envy people that may have more material than you, because your test than theirs. Some people are tested by poverty and some people are tested with abundance, right? Who are we to say that one test is greater than the other? You know, so I think sometimes we see ourselves as a failure sometimes based on metrics that weren't
Comparison.
for us.
And they were
Exactly.
comparing yourself. We've said here, and this came from the pastor who was at journaling the scripture. He said, anytime you're in contemplation, I guess, about something being right or wrong, or is this the right way? What are you comparing it to? First, understand that, because again, if you are saying I'm selfish, that means again you want me to be. There's something that you want and expect from me based on your perception and your reality. So,
Hmm.
are you being selfish as well? Right? Because if you think it should be and it is your way, why don't you first make sure that you understand that? Because once you understand yours and you're okay with you, it won't offend you that someone has a different perception and a reality of that thing.
Right.
And you will be wise enough to know that does not mean that yours is wrong. We're just different. We perceive and see things differently. And if we would just first get the understanding of yourself and your very own meaning of success. And
Mm.
what does that look like? It took me back to the day 105, a credit to the race where we had these runners who were kind of, they had their own thing. Some of them just wanted to be a little bit ahead of what they were last year in
Hmm.
the race, right? So it's all about you guys. Whether and let me go back to the definition here, because I found it interesting. There is a thin line between success and failure. It's kind of like the thin line between love and hate. Y'all get it?
Mama, I sang that song yesterday.
Yeah.
Was it
I
yesterday? That's funny.
I heard something from a lady yesterday, and Brandon, you said something to make me think about it. African American lady, we had a really good conversation. Her parents passed away. They had a house that was paid for. Um, no will or anything like that. And there was 8 of them. 7 of them decided to live in this house, but they were also gung ho about who should do what, when, where, how, to the point that nobody did anything. And they lost a house that was paid for over who would pay the taxes.
Hmm. I experienced that. Worked in affordable housing, Mom. That happens a lot to
That
Black
happens a
families.
lot, you
That
guys.
to be when I worked in affordable housing policy and community revitalization, you know, neighborhoods, and assess what was going on to make them vacant, abandoned. One of the biggest things that we saw was when elder passed away, right? And there was nothing set up for the passing of that asset to the next generation. So it ends up going to probate court, and that takes time, right? And there's deliberations and all these things. And during that time, the house is usually decreasing in value. because it's not being upkept. Because no one's gonna go
Yeah.
and take care of grandma's great grandma's
Unless
house.
they know they
If
gonna get it.
exactly. They're not hustling
Mental,
and they're not working for
y'all.
they're not working for their last name, they're working for their first. Even though their last name is what got them there. Grandma built this. Grandpa had this, granddaddy made this establishment for you, this institution for you, this asset for him and to pass on as a legacy. And the next generation drops the ball, right? Or he drops the ball himself because he doesn't know to have a will. So look, anybody, especially if you're over the age of 40, get you a will. Get you a will. It is a right of your children. It is a right of your family. And their rights are your responsibilities. So take
Y'all,
care.
let's make that today's lesson. We talked about
Yeah.
eating better yesterday. There's so many things, the takeaways. I say get a journal and start writing down your takeaways because um, that is so true. We have a friend who was able to get a good amount of land um, from this lady because she couldn't pay the taxes. The taxes were behind just a little bit,
Come
and
on,
she had
Viz.
children that she could have that I would think could have just put something together and let's save this some good property in a good area.
Mm.
He called me up one day and said, "Hey, I need you to help me get this," and we made it work. And that's been 6 7 years ago. He still has this land,
Come on,
right?
Viz.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Viz.
put his name out there, Brandon, but
Oh, my bad, my bad.
it's okay. It's okay. I don't think he would mind, but yeah, I didn't. Yeah, but yeah, he was able to just to do something. And the lady she was elderly, and she said, "I just don't have it." And he didn't just pay the back taxes. He did put some money in her pocket too, and that showed some good character. For him, he gave her a good little bit. That probably helped her. Get a little bit further along the way. And so, y'all, this is about, again, it's just about us. I do want to pull out something here that I read earlier about let me just start at the beginning. Every adversity, every failure, and every unpleasant experience carries with it the seed of an equivalent benefit that may prove a blessing in disguise, right? Then I'm going to go down to the third paragraph. It says, "You too can ride the success beam by learning to discover and build on the seed." There's that word again. Build on the seed of an equivalent benefit in each of your setbacks. So there is a seed in each of what you see as your setbacks. So if
Yeah.
there's a seed there, God with you will water that seed and something beautiful will grow, something more. Because if you go through an obstacle that brings about wisdom, a better understanding of yourself, brings about humility in you, a better understanding of God's grace, mercy, and favor. Because whatever you've been through could have been a whole lot worse. I'm telling you. If you
Yeah.
tell me your story, I'll show you someone else's story who was 10 times worse than yours. But they stood on, while I don't understand, God, I trust you.
Right, right.
And if you
And
just trust
yeah,
God, right? If you just trust him in your obstacles, but if I'm gonna tell you something else, but if you still trust him and stay close in your winning season, because so often, Brandon, you said this, we'll get where we think we were going. Oh man, I made it. Yeah, I made it, right?
yeah.
You forget about God.
Forget
You
who
forget
got you there.
about the people who was right by you when you were trying to make it. You become arrogant. Oh, I did this. I'm this now. And when you get to that place, when you're in your winning season, do you still seek God? Do you still attempt to grow daily? Do you still forgive people? Do you still have grace for people? Do you give people grace? Right? Who do you become when you think you've won? Who
Yeah.
do you become
Mm.
when you are you too legit for somebody to even be close to you? Too legit to ever be wrong? Too legit that you can't grow, continue to grow? So this is deep, y'all. Take away what have ye, but I do think Brandon brings up a good point, even about the wheel and things like that. Because being legit means you straight, man. Hey, that's my boy. He's legit. You could rock with him. That's
Like you
my
said,
girl.
you mentioned a man that set his wife up for his own death, and he had nothing wrong with him at the time.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
legitimate. That's
Yeah.
legit
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah. The
right?
story goes, I heard this man say, he said that he didn't want his wife, if he died, he did not want his wife to have a man because she needed a man. He wanted her to have a man if she chose to because she wanted one in her life. He didn't want her to have to make a choice because she needed to be assisted financially. Y'all, that's a beautiful thing. And then there's a story of the man who gave his wife roses every month, and he had made plans that if he died, she would continue to get those roses every month for as long as she lived.
Man,
Right? That's can y'all feel that? Can you
yeah,
just feel that kind of person? Because most times people be like, if I die, she gonna spend my money with somebody else.
yeah. We're still
E-
possessive over
Is that
money
over even in
even
death?
after we dead. How stupid,
Stupid is that? That ain't
stupid.
legit.
And
That's
so
not a legit person.
exactly, exactly. And so shallow people get shallow things. And one thing I want to point out, what you said, we still trust, right? And then we can get off here because I know we're getting long. But it's often difficult for us to recognize the equivalent benefit that comes from our adversity. So the good and the lessons and the personal development that comes out of adversity, it's hard to recognize that benefit while we're still suffering from the wounds. Right? And so I look at it like this, like I said, time is an interesting thing, how it expands and contracts, right? In the beginning, we feel like we're at a loss of time. Like, man, I did that whole competition just to lose, right? So we feel like we lost time, but we didn't. The time went to the lesson on the back end, right? So on the back end, the next line it says, but time. The greatest of all healers will disclose the benefits, that equal benefit, the equivalent benefit within the adversities. I'm the greatest of all healers will disclose the benefits of basically of those adversities, those who sincerely search for and believe they will find them. So keep searching, keep believing, keep trusting in the process, keep getting up after every time you fall down, and end on your feet, no matter what. No matter what, end on your feet. And so that's pretty much all I have as far as the analysis. I think we mentioned that for a second. What, like, they didn't know what to do, all the people in there. Usually the best thing to do, even when you shoot a basketball, right? Let's take it back to Isaiah Hayes. I said Isaac. To take yeah, Isaiah Thomas. I thought about Isaac Hayes. Let's take it back to Isaiah Thomas.
Mm,
The best thing to do is, instead of ready, aim, fire, or ready, aim, shoot, or whatever, it's shoot, right? It's shoot. No, it's ready, shoot, aim.
mm,
Instead of ready, aim, shoot, or ready, aim, fire, it's ready, fire, or shoot, and then aim. Then adjust your aim, and then
mm.
do it again. And so
I like that. I
the
like that.
difference, the difference in that is, like, you're not sitting there. Okay, do I have this right and this right? Let me make sure my feet are right. Take my breath and bounce the ball 3 times, and it's your first time shooting. You don't know what you're doing. So I tell people in martial arts, even, you know, and how I start jujitsu classes after we warm up is I put them in positions that we're going to learn and go over that day. And I let them start to work in and work out of those positions. So let's say we're to the position where someone's sitting on your chest in a fight and they're trying to punch you, right? They're sitting on your chest. I'm not gonna say, okay, everybody, gather around in a big circle. You sit on my chest, and I'm gonna show you guys how to get out with this example. No, the way that I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna put your butt in that situation. I'm gonna have somebody sit on your chest and let you feel that pressure, let you feel that adversity, right? And I'm gonna tell you while you're down there, as my students will say, while you're down there, I want you to think about what challenges you see and feel. What's easy for you in this situation, and what's hard for you. Where are the blocks and where are the opportunities? And after about 5 minutes of being in that position and you working to get out and the person on top working to keep you down, right? Then we're going to come back and get into that circle. And before I show you anything, we're going to discuss as a group what was challenging about that, what was easy about that. And then after I've fleshed out all of they've expressed all of their experiences, then I teach them how to get out of that. And I've noticed that that teaches people more because now they have some type of memory on, yeah, that I was there and I didn't know how to get their knee from under my armpit. You see what I'm saying? So that for me, it's ready, shoot, or ready, fire, then adjust the aim. And by and large, people will get a winning shot faster than if they and I mean by time, faster than if they would have just sat there trying to adjust every little thing only to miss the shot. You know what I mean? And have to do it again. How many
Brandon,
shots
I
can I get
love
in
the
10
ready,
minutes?
shoot, aim. I love the ready, shoot, aim because it gives you a place, like you said, to adjust from. You know, okay, I missed from this position. I missed
Right,
here. So where
right.
do I adjust? So when you're going through adversities, right? Challenges. And I want to end here, Brandon, 7:57. I don't want to
Yes,
lose
ma'am.
our Instagram people like we've been doing. It is often difficult for us to recognize the equivalent benefit or benefits, right?
Right.
In our adversities while we are still suffering from the wounds. Brandon just shared that. So, are you suffering or are you growing? Are you going somewhere? Are you going towards wisdom, knowledge, understanding of yourself first, right? Are you going towards there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it is often difficult for us to recognize the equivalent benefit in our adversities while we are still suffering from the wounds. Stop suffering. The suffering is over. It's been done. Stop looking at yourself as a victim. Stop suffering because you're too legit. Too legit. If not by your own definition, by the creator's definition, you're too legit. Now, let me finish this and we're going to get out of here. But time, the greatest of all healers. Can you think about something that as you were going through it, growing through it, you thought, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Why me? And now that time has healed, time has gone past forward, you look back at that thing and be like, man, God, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because
But
I ain't the same person anymore, right? And even that, some good came out of it. So let's keep going. But time, the greatest healer, greatest of all healers, will disclose the benefits to those who sincerely search for and believe they will find them. What is them? The equivalent benefit in our adversities.
yeah, what's
You
the
will
lesson?
find, right. You will find it. Because some people will go through something and keep going through it and never find the benefit of it.
Right.
And so what happens? You just keep going. You just keep going through that same thing. And imagine going through a terrible storm. I've been there on the interstate because I'm a road person, right? Stay on the road. And it's storming. But pretty soon I see the sun and the rain stops almost instantly. Don't even need the windshield wipers anymore. But guess what? Somebody behind me is coming through that same storm thinking the same thing. When will it ever end? And if I could just tell them, come on, my sister, I just ran through the storm. I made it out. It's not raining. You could turn off your windshield wipers right about now. All right. So Brandon, let's end it.
Let's end it. End it. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us on this May 26th. Too Legit to Quit was the title. And Isaiah Thomas, the basketball great, gave us our quote and saying, I've always believed no matter how many shots I miss, I'm going to make the next one. I'm going to make the next one. And after reading the short passage about adversity and defeat, helping you to develop your wits and helping you to persevere through and giving you the knowledge and personal development to get to that end, that success, that finish line, we came to the affirmation of the day that we read 3 times. One for me, one for you, and one for the person we're going to send this to invite them back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. Is great achievement is born out of perseverance. Again, great achievement is born out of perseverance. You got to go through something to really to achieve something, right? Or it's not an achievement. Say it out loud this time. It's at the bottom of your screen. Great achievement is born out of perseverance. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us today on the In the Season podcast on this 116th consecutive show. Every day we've been here. Somebody's been here. 116 days consecutively. So thank y'all so much. Invite someone back here tomorrow, and we'll do this all over again. Now go out there, be great. Remember, Too Legit to Quit. Look up the song Too Legit to Quit and let that be your theme song for the day. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Take care. Peace.
Peace, peace, peace. Let me close us out. All right, there we go. Get the book.